Right.
There was one segment of the political divide that was supporting it, and another one was objecting it.
Tell me the reasons why, you know, and not particularly them, but tell me the reason why this would be supported, and tell me the reason why this would be objected.
Well, I would like it to be supported. I don't know about objection.
Why they would object? What were the reasons for objecting?
Not very concrete reasons.
Yeah, give us some.
Because some of them are very petty reasons that we shouldn't have representation.
Right.
I think I won't even mention names.
Okay.
But one, Mheshimiwa, told me that that he's already representing us in the August House.
Right.
So we don't need representation.
Okay.
And I reminded him quickly that if he was representing us, I wouldn't be here.
Right.
I wouldn't be in the country representing our issues.
Right.
So that means, basically, that means we are not represented.
And those in support who agree with what you have to say, you know, how far do you think they will take it?
Well, the ones who support it, they know the benefits of that.
Okay.
They know the fairness of that. They believe that 1.2 million Kenyans outside of the country who are unrepresented need representation. And they've clearly shown that their attachment to the country is unquestionable.
Right.
So in that, and of course, sending the money, $1.6 billion, that is participation in nation building.
You mentioned that. Yeah. Tell us a few examples of where this has worked in other countries, and what are the long-term benefits of having representation abroad? Well,
examples are, we follow the British Constitution to the letter.
Right.
Okay, if that's the case, Britain actually has 11 members of parliament that represents Britons abroad.
Okay.
11 members of parliament.
11, that's a lot.
Yes.
Right.
India, I think, has 7.
Okay.
And I'm not sure about the numbers. Nigeria has also representation.
Right.
Because Nigeria has a big diaspora outside.
Exactly.
So they thought they should have representation. And it just makes sense that when you have a big segment of your population outside, the way to connect them to their brethren is to represent them and involve them in constitutional making, the democratizing of the country, economically involve them in all aspects of life on the ground.
Okay. Yeah. It took you about 7 years to realize your dream of dual citizenship.
Correct.
More so.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Congratulations to you and a lot
of
people who wanted to do this.
Yeah.
How long do you think it'll take you to realize this dream of getting representation abroad?
Well, we are still hammering on that issue.
Okay.
And as you know, we as a community, we lobby real hard. And I think visit this country twice a year sometimes, lobbying issues that concerns us.
Okay.
So I think we hope it won't take the PSC or the Committee of Experts a long time to deliberate on this issue.
Right.
This is needed. It's an issue that is long overdue.
Right.
We need representation, and we need. Let me give you a good example. They've given us voting rights. Voting rights means we can be able to vote from Washington, D.C., from Kampala, from Australia, right? As Kenyans.
Yes.
And let's give an example and say we'll vote for a presidential candidate, a national leader, right?
Right.
What about on the constituency level?
Right, yes.
Constituency level. Who do we vote for in the constituency level?
Right.
Who are we supposed to vote for? So you can't tell me I'm in
you
Boston.
You have that one option, right?
You can't tell me if I'm in Boston, I'm voting from Boston, I should support a candidate in Embakasi or in Kisauni, and yet that candidate doesn't represent us.
Right.
We are Kenyan community abroad. So it will be logical for me to vote for a candidate in a constituency in Kisauni, for example, and yet they don't represent, they have their own constituency to represent there.
Okay.
So meaning we don't have that block to vote for a member of parliament. Absolutely. And that's what we are asking them to consider. Since they gave us voting rights, we should be able to vote for a member of parliament or constituency representative for our constituency. Okay. And that's what we're saying. That will go hand in hand with proposing a new constituency for. It can be an imaginary constituency. Right. But it's known, it should be there. Okay. Representing Kenyans abroad.
Before we go, let's talk about something that's very important, which is Kenyans' involvement when it comes to issues that actually affect Kenyans directly. When it comes to hunger, when it comes to lack of enough medical supplies, when it comes to the IDP issues. Malforce has been an issue that doesn't seem to be going away with people, settlers being evicted. How proactive are Kenyans when it comes to that, when it comes to proactive steps, when it comes to issues, when it comes to sending money, sending aid? What would you say about that?
Well, historically, we as Kenyan members of the Kenyan community abroad, we've been very active in issues that take place here in the country.
Right. Active meaning, what have you done?
Well, I gave you an example of when our country was at crossroads politically. Right. During the last government, we stood up and fought for change. Right. And
I'm asking about tangible things that actually will maybe give food to a family.
Well, we have, as a community, we have a lot of initiatives here on the ground. Okay. We have HIV/AIDS initiative here on the ground. Excellent. We have a foundation for students who can't afford the school fees. You know, we send money every month to that foundation. Okay. We have in Kisumu, I think we have an orphanage. We also, as I said, mentioned, we took care of the victims of the U.S. bombing, the orphans who were, found victims of the U.S. bombing in Nairobi. Okay. And two of them, actually, we brought them to the U.S. For medical treatment, and we linked them with they were adopted by American parents. So, don't forget, I was in Mau myself just the other day. We thought Mau is a very important issue for not only for Kenyans, but for all of us. And I took the liberty to fly all the way to the country and joined the Prime Minister in Molo, in Mau Forest. Right. And in fact, let me just tell you that we planted a tree called KCA, Kenya Community Abroad. That's sweet. So we have a footmark in Mau. In the Mau. Which actually, without politicizing the issue, which it shouldn't be politicized.
Of course not. This is
our lifeline. Okay. If we really have to care about our environment, where our water, the catchments are, we shouldn't politicize such issues. Right. We need to preserve the Mau forest. Absolutely. And all Kenyans, from all political divide, should support the Mau initiative.
Mr. John Maina, thank you very much for being here this morning, shedding a lot of light on this issue. There are a lot of Kenyans, 1.2 million Kenyans living abroad.
Yes, indeed. The biggest constituency outside of Kenya.
That's a very huge number, absolutely.
Let me also mention real quick. The issue of tribalism should also be addressed by including a law in the constitution to make it criminal to address another Kenyan by his or her tribe. This issue of ule rafiki yangu Mjaluo, ule rafiki yangu Mkamba, that should be criminalized. We are Kenyans, we should adapt to the Tanzanian model. Everybody ndugu, 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 dada. Right. We should, Brazil has it, Singapore has a law that criminalizes anybody who discriminates on tribal aspect. Okay. So that issue of tribalism should be addressed in the constitution.
Should have been a thing of the past.
We are one people.
As Kenyans,
we as Kenyans, we are one people, regardless of our ethnic backgrounds.
Absolutely. Mr. Jomana, thank you very much for
anytime, madam. Thank you for hosting me. And I'll be back another time with another issue.
Okay, absolutely. Wish you the best of luck.
Great.
It's a Power Breakfast Show, hosting Kenyan community abroad. Johnson Mwakazi lives here in Kenya, and he's up next with the news. Stay with us. We'll be right back.